Hello, fellow Bubble developers. Nikolai Markovich from Echolaketech Technologies, echolaketech.com. In this video, I'm going to show you how to edit data within a repeating group. In particular, in this video, I'm going to show you how to delete or remove data within a repeating group cell. In a prior video, which I'll post a link of, I showed you how to go and add data within a repeating group. So let me run through a demo, but first, if you like these videos, please give me a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. I do appreciate that. So for this demo here, we will go and remove one of these three classes here. Let's remove English, and we'll update, and you can see that English is no longer here. In the other video that I have that I'll add the link to, I'll add English back into the course list, and then you can see there is English. Okay, let's get into the details of the design. So within this repeating group here, within the cell, I have this icon here. And basically for getting an icon, it's simply over here under visual elements, like that. And I think it was, let's see, what is the name of this icon? I'm not sure the name of this icon, but you can go and select in here by doing a search for whatever icon you would like to choose. And let's get to the workflow. For the workflow on this one, it's only two steps. The first step is display data in this pop-up update classes. And for this here, we are going to display data, the current cell's user data. And then the second step is to show the pop-up. So the first step again is just to go and send the data to the pop-up. And then the second one is to open the pop-up. Now, if you come over to Element Actions, and we want to display data under group here, and then the pop-up is update classes, and the data display, current cell's user. So that's how we set up that step. And for the next step to open the pop-up, it's under Element Actions, Show, and then the name of the pop-up. And that's how you set up this workflow. Now this workflow again is going to open up a pop-up, and the pop-up is update classes here. And this update is of type user. And if you recall in the workflow, we are sending user data to this pop-up. So it's important that you have an alignment if with the data type. So I just change it randomly to blog here, and you see I'm getting all these errors or these issues now. And the reason being is because the workflow is expecting to send user data to this pop-up. So that's a critical thing with pop-ups. You want to make sure that the data you're sending is aligned with the type of content for the pop-up. In here I have a simple text field, parent group's user's first name, and parent group user's last name. So I'm just doing this to show the name of the user. So parent group user's first name, and then similarly the parent group user's last name, which is right there. So that's how you set that up for the text field. And again, if you're not familiar, for text it's under visual elements and text right here. Just like that. All right, and the next thing on here, the next element is this multi drop down. And this is going to show the list of classes that the user is currently set up or signed up for. Now in your app, this is just going to fetch the data that is within that cell for that particular person or whatever thing it may be. So for instance, it could be a real estate, your repeating group could be for real estate or vehicles or something of that nature, and then you would show the data within this drop down here. So for this, dynamic choices versus static choices, you would just manually go in and type the choices, but for this one, we're pulling data from the database, so we want dynamic choices. The type of choices is class because we want to show the user's class. And then it's the parent group users classes. So just jumping over here to the database and coming over here to users. So within users, we have classes, which is a list of classes. And that's how we go and set up, in the prior video I walked through in more detail on setting up the list of classes for the design. So we have the list of classes for the user and then the current options class name. So this is basically pulling the name of the class. This class category of students, teachers, and so forth. But for this field, we want to show the class name. And then the default value, so when the pop-up opens, we want to show the parent group users classes. So this will show the users classes that they are currently signed up for. And then the next workflow item here is this button for closing. And just real quick for a button, if you're not familiar, right over here on the elements, and that's how you get the button element. And this is a simple workflow. All we're basically doing is hiding the pop-up. And to do that, element actions, hide, and then the pop-up. Now for the other workflow, and this is where really a lot of the magic in this happens for updating. So we go to the workflow here. We set a state to basically what this step is going to do is it's going to go and create a custom state. And in that custom state, it is going to have a list of classes. And that the purpose for the list of classes is because we want to go and take the existing users' classes that they have, and then we want to remove the list of classes that are left in the dropdown. So basically, if these are the classes that are remaining, we want to keep those, and we want to remove those from what's already in the database. And what this, it's kind of a little bit of a reverse math going on this, but basically what this is going to give you is the list of the classes that the user no longer wants to sign up for. And the reason why we need to do this is just to go and update the list of classes, which I'll get to well, I'll just jump to it right now, to make the changes to the list of classes. And so within the database, what I'm doing is I'm going to do a search for all the classes in the database, and I'm going to be looking for the classes, all those classes that the user no longer wants to take, and then I'm going to remove the student's name from the list of students for each one of those classes. It's a little bit confusing. Let me kind of walk through this again. So first step is going to be setting up a custom state. To do that, I jump back to design, and I just click on here. So I see, you see contact lists and create users. That's the name of the page. And you see the little I up here. So that's the element inspector. And then I have this class update, and it's a type of class. It's of type class right here. And then it's a list. And so again, what this is going to do is it's going to capture the list of classes. So let me just walk through adding a custom state. So I'll just call it test, and it'll be of type class. And this state is a list, and I want to click yes here because I'm going to be collecting multiple classes into this custom state. And that's how you set up the custom state here. I'm just going to delete that. I'm going to go back to the workflow. All right, so I've got this custom state, class update is what we called it, parent group users classes. Okay, so I'm going to go into the database, and I'm going to take all of the classes that the the student already has, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the leftover classes that's in the multi dropdown, and I'm going to remove those. So the only thing that's going to be left in the database are going to be those, or rather, the only thing that's going to be left in the custom state is going to be those classes that the student no longer wants. And then what I do is I make a change here to the user. So if you remember in the data, under user, I have classes. So I'm going to go and update that into the database with this workflow step here. So it's a parent group's user, classes, set list, the multi drop-down value. And basically what this is going to do is it's going to go into the user's classes and then setting the list. So I'm going to be telling the database that this list here from the multi drop-down is going to be the value of the classes that the student is going to be taking. So that's how you set up that step. And let me just come over here to show you where that step comes from. So it's data, make change to a thing, and then parent groups user. All right, so that's how you set up that step. The next one, this is where we make a change into classes. So coming over the database here, under classes. So this is where we're going to be making a change to this data. And to do that, back to the workflow. So we're going to make a change to class, and we're going to make a change to all of the classes that are contained into this custom state. And those are the classes that we just collected into step 1 here. And then for those classes, we're going to remove the parent group user. So we're moving the students from that list. Basically, we'll be removing the list of students from here, from students. And that's how you set up that step. The next one is resetting the update for the classes, the pop-up, and then hiding it. So let me go to step 3 here to walk through that. So data, make changes to a list of things. Make sure you choose list of things because we're working on a list of things, not a single thing in the database. And so for this one, it's making a list of changes to the classes. And then similar to here, we're going to be going and getting the, let's see, down at the bottom here, we're going to be getting the class update, which has the list of those classes. And then we're going to go search in the database. And we're going to go remove the parent group's user. So students, remove, and then over here, parent group's user. So we are removing that user from taking that class. And that's how you set up that state, or rather that step. Step 4 is basically similar to the other, closing the pop-up. We are going to reset data, and then the pop-up, update classes, and then the next step here is just to hide the pop-up. And it's not user classes, it's update classes. There we go. So that's how you set up this workflow here. And basically that is all that's needed to do to go and, I'm going to do a refresh here, to go set up the ability to remove data from the cell within a repeating group. So again, I could go and remove that, update, and that's it. Again, if you like these videos, please give me a thumbs up, and I do appreciate that, and subscribe to my channel. Thank you.